everybody, and welcome to this week's engineer interview, where we are joined by Vladimir Valionkin. Now, my name's Scott, and I work at Primary Engineer. Before we start, I just wanted to say thank you very much for signing up to this year's competition. It's our 10th birthday this year, so thank you for celebrating it with us. Now, for those of you who don't know, this is the Leaders Award competition, where we ask the question, if you were an engineer, what would you do? Pupils from the ages of 3 to 19 anywhere in the UK can join, and every single person who takes part receives a grade certificate from an engineer, just like the ones we interview. We then host public exhibitions and award ceremonies at the end of the school year to celebrate the amazing engineering ideas of those who took part. Now, we've already started receiving entries from this year, so remember to send them to Primary Engineer HQ when you've completed yours in class. Part of these interviews involve us speaking to engineers who work on loads of different projects, all of them showing the wonderful, exciting and interesting things that you get to work on in a career as an engineer. Now, although these interviews are hosted live, you'll be able to catch them on our YouTube channel later in the week. Our special guest this week will start with a 10-minute presentation, all about being a technical advisor with the Civil Aviation Authority, and then we will open up to questions from the audience. If you would like to ask a question, simply type it in the chat function in Teams. We unfortunately can't receive audio from the audience, so if you do have a question, please type it in. But for now, I'm going to hand over to our wonderful special guest, Vladimir.
Thank you so much, Scott, and good afternoon all. Thank you, Stephanie, and happy birthday, Primary Engineer. That's a serious date, 10 years.
Thank you very much.
First, again, good afternoon all. I'll try to give a very quick brief of who I am and how I started career at CAA and what did I do before. And I presented this in a format of tiles of experiences which I had in my life. And I would say from the very top, there were studies many years ago, which university studies I took after GCSEs and A-levels in my country, relevant equivalent in Lithuania, that's where I grew up. I read electronics and economics, which I both successfully failed at one point. And interestingly, that took me a completely different path of careers, where I found myself working in health and safety, in engineering, construction, but that was purely a paperwork career, where I would be responsible for various health and safety tasks, risk assessments, method statements. It didn't take me long to understand that that's not a right way. And I was running a company then, which is private watercraft maintenance, where I did enjoy a lot that business. And that was, from the engineering perspective, very interesting to learn how things are made, how they're fixed. Again, it took me a while to understand that while being on the water is great, and I still enjoy it as one of the London's club, rowing club members, which I do several times a week. However, with oars this time, and no engines involved. I started to fly in one of London's flight schools, where I gained my license. I continued then towards Oxford Aviation, where I passed a model away of ATPLs. That's one of the steps which, if you want to become a commercial pilot, that's a model away. And interesting enough, I'm still on that path to gain my full commercial flying license, hopefully by mid-summer, with instrumental ratings. And that just tops up to your role, what you're doing in the day tasks. But probably one of the key changes which I made at some point was to join Kingston University, where I rolled out from aerospace engineering degree. That's 4 years, 3 or 4 years, I don't remember now, but 3 years. Exciting opportunity. Again, that opened me doors to join CAA. Again, at the very basic positions in the beginning as a technical officer. Then I was already a surveyor in the technical aircraft certification technical team, which takes various tasks on allowing aircraft to fly when they not meet some airworthiness requirements, making decisions. Your signature could be on the whole fleet of major airline maintenance programs. Interesting role, and I grew up to a senior position, senior surveyor in that team before I have joined CAA International, which is sub part of CAA in the position of technical advisor. However, this is a development position to a senior technical advisor role, which I'm currently going through. Also, I would add at this point that somewhere mid, I joined Cranfield as a part of a CAA apprenticeship program to a master's degree, and that is called Aviation Safety Management, Risk and Regulation. As you can hear, this is very much about safety and aviation, and this is a set of various modules which you would gain understanding in how aviation in how the safety in aviation actually created. What do you need to do? What countries do? What the airlines do from individual perspective and things like that. I'll move further. You can see also a membership in Royal Aeronautical Society, where I'm a member. I'm thinking of applying to chartered engineer qualification there as well. From these slides, I want you to understand that all these styles, as I presented them, they make an important complete picture, which then allows to select your further route. And it's not necessarily CAA, it can be any airline, it can be maintenance organizations, or many other businesses. But in short, I'll tell you several words about what the Civil Aviation Authority is. We are a regulator, UK's civil aviation regulator, and that's, you can compare us to some other regulators, which, as you all may know, such as Financial Conduct Authority or Environmental Agency. They're all some form of government bodies which ensure safety or other functions within particular area. And if you ask any question related to aviation in the United Kingdom or in other country, which most of them have their national authorities, they're called NAAs or FAA in America. We do everything related to any area. So whether you want a license as a pilot, that's CAA. Whether your aircraft needs to be registered on a UK registration, that's CAA. License for an airport, CAA. Airport to meet certain requirements, CAA. A permit to fly, or you want to overfly UK airspace with aircraft which doesn't meet IK requirements, that's CAA. Drone, you need a license, that's CAA. And many other areas which even you wouldn't think of. For instance, an airline which took some sort of financial responsibilities to provide you services, and you probably have heard the word ATOL. That's also CAA. That's financial part. Interestingly, this is a huge web of different departments and 15 or 1600 people ensuring compliance in many areas. Here we have a quick picture of what the international arm of the CAA is. So in short, this is an arm which, or sort of a tool which we can use, a corporate arm which provides services to other entities, commercial services. And in general, they are advisory, regulatory services all around the world, countless countries which we are working on. I am a part of this team. It's called UK CAA International, and my team is called Technical Team, where we have advisors like myself in various areas. So I cover in general, airworthiness questions and licensing. Hopefully, some of the flight operations functions in the future. UKCAA, that's more about technical team. You will probably be able to read the slide later. I won't be reading that, but what we do in our international projects, that's providing various support to countries. If countries need the help in setting state safety policies, it's us. Ensuring examiners, exams can take part or to get engineering licensing, it's us. And many other functions. So my day job tasks, if you ask what do I do as an engineer, as a regulator, as a technical advisor, I can be on audit. We need still to participate in some audits, and that audit would be export aircraft, aircraft coming to our register, audit of maintenance organization, audit of ATO, which is a training organization, and any other area you can imagine in aviation. Other parts is compliance, regulatory. So that's regulatory work which we work on the projects to ensure that countries or projects we're working on are given what they are requested. And this can be new regulation, new policies, or checking of their existing policies, any things like that. Training, that's one of the biggest parts of UKCAA International. We provide training on a number of areas, starting from airworthiness, flight ops, security, safety management systems, and another almost 100 courses, which can make aviation safer. And our clients would be airlines, maintenance organizations, just individuals. Now, going towards engineering and aviation, and we move a bit away from regulation, but I still want to tell you that engineering it used to be and still is a driving force in aviation, in many other areas. You can choose today or tomorrow particular segment which you will be so much excited. The reason why, it's not stopping, not at point. And when we think that sometimes engineering stagnated, it's stalled, nothing else to invent, it's not true. And you can see, for instance, if we are talking about zero fuel or hydrogen, just a couple of days ago, we saw a first aircraft taken off with hydrogen-powered motors. In that case, from airport near Campbell, or that's Campbell Airport. Guess who issued the permit? UKCAA. And also that was a work together with that company to ensure that they can achieve that. Aerospace, aerodynamics, laminar flow, new wing designs. Look at the Boeing. Then you're doing new wings, laminar flow research, blockchain, maintenance records, and things like that. Huge area, or artificial intellect. You choose. All these can be linked to aviation. And excitement comes from almost billion of possibilities where you can start today. If you are interested in conventional engines, they still exist, and they will still exist for many years. If you're interested in hydrogen-powered, there are many ways of research, or maybe to become an engineer and say, that's okay, fuel cells is not what we think will be the future. Maybe that's going to be a hydrogen burned in the engines as a conventional fuel. You choose. And I can assure you that that will be a very exciting journey. And the final, unfortunately, we have a very limited time. The final slides is, maybe it looks a bit childish, but I want to suggest to you that if you imagine your life, engineering life or professional career life as a fruit tree, that can produce some fruits. It won't happen if you are not able to provide it with some serious fundamentals. And fundamentals start from yourself, where values exist. In the UKCAA, we have 4 uh, major values, which are do the right thing, never stop learning, build collaborative relationship, and respect everyone. This is already enough to start your journey. But you add knowledge, you add experience, you add your passion to a particular area, and learning, continuous improvement, you will see that that tree becomes bigger and bigger. And that's all about engineering. Choose today, and you will never be sad about that. It's an interesting journey. Thank you.
But I have a question just to start off with, Vladimir. You mentioned how you have to work with people from all over the world, because obviously when we're flying, we're going all over the world. Does your job take you to different parts of the world, and do you have to work with different people and countries?
Thank you, Scott. Yes, indeed. In international division, or IG, international group, most of our advisors, senior technical advisors and advisors, and other roles get to travel to various destinations. As I mentioned, we have tens and tens of countries where we worked already, and currently there are so many: Kyrgyzstan, Mozambique, Uganda, Thailand, Indonesia, Bahrain, Saudi, UAE, you name it. All of these destinations will involve some work by a particular group, which is assigned to various projects. For instance, I'm assigned to 2 projects currently, and I'm looking to travel to one of the countries again in just 3 weeks' time, which is so exciting.
Brilliant. So we've got a question here from Alison Campbell, and Alison asks, do you enjoy your job?
A good question. Thank you, Alison. It's a funny thing that just 3 days ago I was talking to one of my colleagues, and we were discussing some work projects issues, and but talking about making a quick chat. I mentioned I still enjoy my work. You know why? It's exciting. It's not boring. You are not doing the same thing. It's not repetitive tasks you would do in some other roles, which do exist as well. I don't want to hide it, but I honestly enjoy my work, and I enjoy the team which I'm currently at. That's very important. Also, that comes from the area, your experience and knowledge in your team would mean that they give you opportunities working together. It's also motivation. So yes, I do.
Brilliant. And we've obviously saw that there's so much in the industry, and you've always got to work on different projects. And another question from the chat is, do you have to study every day to keep up with everything that's happening?
Interesting question. So we've just had a meeting half an hour ago prior to this meeting. That's apprenticeship meeting. As I mentioned, I'm still doing apprenticeship, and I'm in final year 3, which is level 7. I'm looking to start writing thesis in the next week or so, which is already a little bit behind. We do give 20% of your work time if you are in an apprenticeship scheme.
Oh, wow.
So you use your work time to 20% of your work time to do that. Time-wise, it is busy. Yes, if you want to do many things at one time, you will need to do good planning. So, for instance, for me, it's flying, work time, uni, and also personal development, you cannot just leave it behind you. I would imagine every person who wants to keep up to date, and if you open any academic magazine or journal, too much information going around you, but you still want to pick up important factors to learn from that, keep up with the major lines, what's happening in industry.
Brilliant. So we've got another question from Pitlochry High School, and it said, why did you choose engineering, and did you always want to be an engineer?
It came to me at the time I was running that company, which is maintenance of watercraft. No, I did not choose to be an engineer in the beginning. And funny enough, I did want to become a doctor while I was in school. However, at some point, I just understood that maybe not, and hence I joined electronics telecommunication course, radio electronics course within one of the technical universities, which I felt, as I said, I was young and I wanted to do other things. Maybe that was an initial time when I did want to become an engineer, but that was a failure. And important to say, engineer, it's a very wide term. If you translate that, please do your homework. You will be it will be a fun result to understand what the engineer is. You do want to become an engineer if you're thinking about the future, tech around the future. That's not necessary for everyone, but for me that was yes. I'm excited to be an engineer.
Just on that, you said about things about looking to the future. One of the questions that got sent into us is what excites you about the future of flying?
As you may know, just recently we have celebrated 100 years of flying since first flights, and you are looking back 50 years and to recent years. How many changes happened in aviation world? But the future is exciting today because we're all talking about green energy, blue energy. We're all talking about new means of transportation. When conventional aircraft now getting a competition from a new, shall I say, non-conventional aircraft, which still in development. So many projects, so many interesting projects, various sorts of powertrain. Again, that will all need new regulation, how to support them, regulation how they can get into the existing airspace, how they can get into the existing operations. Too many questions and too many professionals needed to answer these questions. Again, not necessarily an engineer. It can be a legal. It can be any other role within this CAA or industry, which will help that to happen.
Brilliant. And while we're still in the future, we've got a question here from Gateside Primary. How long until we can buy a ticket for a trip to Mars or even the moon?
That's a good question. I will send a text to Elon Musk tonight to double check about the prices. I'm sure they have this in their projects. I probably not competent to answer that when we will be able to do that. But looking at the progress, looking at some of space race entrance, SpaceX, for instance. Let's wait for that. We'll certainly see that.
So if we do, I know that the UK is looking at space as well and about sending, but there was even a trip from the Cornwall. So as you said earlier, almost everything to do with flying in the UK, the CAA are involved. Will it be the same for space travel from the UK?
Certainly indeed. As you may know, Cornwall, shall we say, rocket port or starport received a certification from us. So every airport, every commercial airport in the United Kingdom would be licensed by us. So they did receive a license from us. And yes, I can confirm there is a team within the CAA where my colleagues from university, by the way, work. They are working on various questions related to space travel and space launches from the United Kingdom territory.
Brilliant. Well, just if you've got any questions left out there in the chat, make sure you put them in. We've got time for a few more. And one of the questions that got sent into us, Vladimir, is what was the first project you worked on, and what are you currently working on now?
The first project I will be very careful not to go somewhere into non-disclose, but one of the first projects within my new role, it was a revision of UK engineering question databases. So as you know, as UK CAA, we provide examination to pilots and engineers, and also a traffic control. So that was my first project to start revision of databases related to that. And my current project, the latest one, would be work in Kyrgyzstan, which you can all read on our website. Kyrgyzstan, it's a country in Central Asia where we are delivering a state safety program to help our colleagues from Kyrgyzstan CAA. And that's a big project, and in a very short time, 10 of us almost will travel there again to work with them.
Brilliant. So does that involve you and the team going out there to sort of teach them what you know, or teach them how to set up a lot of these regulations to make air flying safer there?
Exactly. Yes. I wouldn't be used or probably teach, but training is also part of this project. We are delivering work where their compliance with ICAO requirements would be reached. So they need to have a certain conformity with ICAO rules, and within the safety program, that is our area, that's our scope.
Brilliant. And we've got time for one more question. This one was sent in. It says it's about you getting your pilot's license, and it says how many hours have you got flying so far before you've got the license?
I got my license in 2014, and that was a PPL license, which is a private pilot license. I think current regulation says you must be 45 minimum total flight hours to get a PPL. As you are going further, you do your hour building, and prior to join instrument rating training or CPL, I think CPL starts from 200. So I'm just about to jump on instrument rating very soon, and that will be 200 plus, yeah.
Wow, 200 hours in the air. That must be pretty exciting.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Well, just look at the time now. I want to say thank you to everyone out there for joining us, and a special thanks to Vladimir for helping inspire all the engineers in the making out there in the audience. Now it is your turn to come up with your own engineering ideas. Remember and send them to us once you've finished so we can get your certificates sent out, and then we'll hopefully see you in person at the public exhibitions at the end of the school year. Don't forget, this interview will be uploaded to YouTube, so you can catch it there later in the week, or you can share it with a colleague, rewatch it in full. You'll be able to find it there. But for now, I want to say thank you to everyone, and a special thanks to Vladimir. Thank you very much, everyone.